Hello everyone, first of all, Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about an extension of my previous video, which if you have been here before, I talked about some crypto programming. So I actually put that in a playlist called Crypto Puzzle, how to call the Coinbase Pro API from various languages and Android. So if you had a chance to look at that video basically goes through how to create a free Coinbase Pro account and then create an API key and choose a language of your choice like JavaScript, Python, .NET, or Java and write the code, or you can literally get the code from GitHub and then just run it after updating certain things. So if you didn't get a chance, please go ahead, look at the video because you're going to need some of the steps that I mentioned here, especially steps like how to create a Coinbase Pro account and how to create an API key. Okay, so having said that, let's get back to the actual business. Let's go through some basics. In order to go through this video, you would need a software called Android Studio. If you're not sure what that is, I'm going to put the link in the description below. You can also look at one of my videos where I talk about how to create an Android application, which is this one right here. That also talks about how to download from that link. Then you can also refer to this video that I just mentioned where it talks about how to create a free Coinbase Pro account and how to create an API key after that. So you're going to need all of that. And I'm going to put the link in the description below for all of this as well in case you wanted to refer to it. Okay, so let's get started. As I said, the first thing you're going to need is an Android Studio. And then once you have the Android Studio, what you want to do is open it up by clicking on the icon. Once it's up, of course, you want it to get my project from the GitHub repository. So you'll be clicking on this, and then that will bring up this dialog box that basically says put the repository URL, which I'll put in the description below where you can copy it from. Right now, I'm going to copy this from and just paste it right here. And of course, make sure that you put it in a directory where you want it to be. So in my case, I put my stuff on the CET projects. So it automatically chose that directory and it put the name of the project in there. And then you're going to hit clone. So that's where it's going to check out that code in that directory, and then it will open it up automatically. Well, I already checked it out, so I'm not going to do it again, but that's how you do it. So once you do it, then let's see what happens. Okay, once the project is loaded, you should see something like this on Android Studio, that the project is loaded. If you don't see this screen, just click on this project module on the left, and that will bring this up. And I will just expand these Java files that would be interesting to see, and also some resource file right here, especially the layout, so that I can refer to it later on. And initially, it may do some, default Gradle build, which is normal. Okay, let's look at some of the code. So first of all, as soon as you bring up the application, it's going to bring the main activity, and the main activity does nothing but sets up the initial theme, which has an action bar tool, and then it will basically just set the content view, and the content view is defined by an actual fragment. Again, if you're not familiar with the Android development, I suggest that you go look at the Android site. They have a very good tutorial on how to build an Android applications. And better yet, if you look at this video that I have, this video also actually has the link for that site and also kind of shows that site that where you could go and learn how to code in Android. Okay, back to the coding. In this Android application, the coding was done using Kotlin, not Java. So this is what you're looking at is a Kotlin code. Anyway, coming back to the code, so the activity is bringing up the main content view, which is tied to an actual fragment. And the main fragment that this thing has is this one right here. So CB account fragment. So this is the fragment that is responsible for rendering the actual page, and all that page is doing, it is basically going to go to your Coinbase account based on your API key and your passcode, which you have to put it right here. So these three things, line 29, 30, and 31, as I mentioned, if you look at my previous video, this video will talk about how to create a free Coinbase Pro account and how to create an API key. So go ahead, do that, and out of that, it also shows you what are the API keys, what's your passphrase, what's your secret passcode, all that. So you're going to need those three information. You're going to need your Coinbase Pro secret, you're going to need your Coinbase Pro key, and you're going to need your Coinbase Pro passphrase, those three things. Just put that in there, and all this is going to do is it's going to get the list of accounts that you have in there that has a value greater than 0. That's all this Android application really going to bring in a nice recycle and view screen. So this fragment, if you go through the code, it's what it does is it gets the list of account that you have on Coinbase Pro, and this method does that. And of course, in order to call that API, which I would suggest go back, look at the other video, it talks about there's a specific steps you have to go through, like you have to get a timestamp, you have to get the exact base string of what type of API you're calling, what's the actual API URL, and their if they have any body, and then add them up, and then you have to find a signature with a HMAC and a SHA-256 crypto algorithm, and then you need to pass in a specific way to make the REST API call, and that's what this is doing basically, all this code. And then once it makes the call, by the way, it's using a built-in package or a plugin called Retro, which doesn't require any kind of async task or anything like that. So using Retro, it's calling the REST API, and when the call is successful, it's basically getting the list of accounts that you have on Coinbase, and then it's going to go through it, and as you could see, then it's going to filter the list right here. It's filtering the list based on basically saying that, hey, if this account doesn't have 0 value, meaning you get some value in that in this crypto, then only show it. So eventually it actually sets up the recycler view adapter, and if you're not sure what recycler view is, go ahead, look it up on Android page on the API. It talks about what is a recycler view. It's basically just a view that shows a list of things. But in an efficient way. So it passes that list, and it also passes other things to set up the recycler view adapter, which is done by this guy right here. So you can look this up as well, and how this is done. It's not that terrible of a code. It's fairly simple, and all I'm showing is what's the currency, what's the balance on that, and is it tradable or not. And I'm showing it in a certain color, so kind of it looks real nice. And this one says whether it's tradable or not. All right, so that's about it. And these classes, so this one, as you could tell, that this represents, when it brings the list of accounts, this represents a single account and all the attributes that Coinbase Pro has returns. So it loads that. These classes basically represents the API call helper class. That's what I call them. So this one has the only method that I added right now is get list of accounts, and what are the headers that I need to pass. So these are the headers, and then this is basically the main base REST API information that I have. What's the base API, and using the retrofit builder API, I'm just setting certain basic things up, saying how this API is going to get called and what will get returned. Like this is going to return a JSON based output. That's about it. And then this layouts are, of course, this is the layout of the main activity, and then inside that, as you could see, the main thing is a fragment. So everything is done by this fragment, and this fragment is what shows up. Actually, this is the main fragment, and then this fragment has a recycler view, and the recycler view is basically every line of recycler view has this information, as you can see right here. What's the currency, what's the balance, and is it tradable or not. So that's pretty much straightforward. So let's go ahead and run it. and let's see how it looks. When you run your Android emulator, this is how it should look like, and I'm going to go ahead and start that. Okay, when the application is up, it should look something like this. And here, as you can see, this is just a normal your app bar, and then it should show you the list of cryptos that you have on the Coinbase Pro account. Of course, I redlined it, but this is where it should show your amount and whether it's tradable or not. And all this thing is shown in different colors. And all the backgrounds and stuff is all obviously would look like this. And when you click on the back button, that closes the application, as simple as. Okay, that's the application, and of course this is how the icon should look like with the $sign on an Android app. When you close the app, you should still have this icon. If it's not there, it should show up at least on the list of icons. Okay, so now let's look at the summary of what we just talked about. So you need to open a free Coinbase Pro account. That's the first thing. Then get the API key. Then of course you're gonna have to have the Android Studio Code installed. That is the software that Google provides for free. I'll put the link in the description below, and then you're going to check out the code that is in the GitHub. I'll also put that link in the description below. Then you're going to basically update those keys that I mentioned from the Coinbase Pro that you got, and then you can just run the code. And that should be as simple as that. I know it doesn't do a lot, but at least you could see the power of the Android development. You can basically create that API key and come up with your own Android app that basically looks at your own Android account through the API key, and you can make all kinds of other things if you like. So that's all I have for today, and if this video has added any value to your skill set, I would humbly suggest that you subscribe to my channel and like the video. And also, if you are not in the crypto yet, this is probably the best time to get into it, because the market is really down. Prices are really cheap for all the cryptos. This is the best time to get into the crypto market. Now, if you want to get into the crypto market, I would humbly suggest to use all the links that I have provided, or I'll provide in my description below, right here. Use any of these exchanges like Coinbase or Crypto.com or Gemini or BlockFi. You get paid, I get paid. Free money. So again, like I said, this is the best time to get into crypto, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a disclaimer. This is just my humble suggestion. This is my opinion. So this is the best time to get into crypto because the market is down. So if you decide to do it, go ahead, use one of these links. That way you get paid, I get paid. That's all I have for today, and I hope this video added value to your skill. And I see you next time. Thanks a lot.